Before history was the face of empire, before the compass turned to the east for gold or the west for ivory, there was a kingdom born not of conquest, but of balance. Kitara, cradled between the legs, where the wind sang in forgotten tongues and rivers whispered the names of kings. The sun rose gently over acacia crowns. The giraffes moved like shadows of gods. The Nile was but a child then, pure, playful, unbroken. The land pulsed with memory. But not all memories stay gentle. Some are sealed away, others wet. In a time when thrones spoke to spirits and drums carved paths through time, one kingdom ruled not by sword, but by spirit. And when that spirit vanished, so too did the rains. But the land never forgot. It waited for the return of its breath, its voice, its king. In the heart of Kitara, beneath a roof woven from history and smoke, a boy was chosen, not by vote, not by blood alone, but by dreams. They called him Wigi, the child of thunder, born beneath a storm that came without clouds. He knelt inside the ancestral cycle, where no words were spoken, only truths felt. The elders, the keepers of the old flame, circled him like moons around a new sun. They marked his brow with golden ash drawn from sacred fires lit since time first breathed. Outside, the people danced. Inside, the spirits watched. But not all eyes are kind. In the crowd, his brother stood silent. Envy called around him like smoke. Wigi was to inherit not just a throne, but the voice of the land. And power, when sacred, is also dangerous. For those who cannot hear the spirits, often wish to silence those who can. On the eve of his coronation, the winds changed. The trees did not sleep. The birds refused to howl. The clouds gathered like mourning elders. Lightning danced across the royal hill. And by morning, the prince was gone. No blood, no footprints, no shattered gates, only a torn cloak by the temple steps and silence. The kind that seeps into the bones of a nation. The throne stood untouched, the crown unworn. A cry was raised to the gods. And in response, only thunder. Betrayal, whispered the wise women. A curse hissed the trees. The spirits said nothing, but the land began to ache. Seasons passed, then years. The drums that once echoed across valleys were silent. Rivers, once wild and generous, now cracked into veins of dust. The banana groves wilted, cattle fell, children drank memory instead of water. And still, no king. Elders gathered around cold shrines, offering tears instead of grain. The sky, once their friend, became a stranger. And in every whispered prayer, his name, Wigi. The throne of Kitara had not been broken. It had been buried beneath grief, betrayal, and time. Until the land could no longer carry its silence. And somewhere, in the folds of forgotten hills, the wind stirred again. Generations later, in a small village wrapped in fog and old songs, a boy was born. Mute, his cries never came, but his eyes they spoke. Of rivers he'd never seen, of kings long dead, of battles not yet fought. He herded his cattle quietly, humming tunes no one taught him, carving signs into the soil only ancestors understood. The villagers called him strange. Some called him coarse, but the wind remembered, and that night his mouth opened in sleep. Names poured out, royal, forgotten names. He dreamed of palaces no map carried, of temples hidden beneath vines, of a throne that missed its king, and always, always, a voice calling from deep within the earth. Return. One night, as the moon hung low like a judgment, the boy followed a call only he could hear. Into the jungle, past broken stones and whispering trees, until he found it. The ruins, Kitara's heart forgotten by men, guarded by spirits. As he stepped into the cycle of stone, the air grew thick with memory. And then, they came. The ancestors, in robes woven from starlight and earth, with drums that pulsed like thunder beneath the soil. They did not speak with mouths, but with knowing. And they did not ask his name, for they already knew. He was not a shepherd. He was a return, a ripple of prophecy come full cycle. The throne stirred, the spirits bowed, and the boy remembered. He approached the stone throne, a relic once buried by betrayal, now breathing again. Golden vines bloomed where once there was dust. The rains, gone for generations, fell with a gasp. Elders dropped to their knees, not from fear, but from recognition. The boy sat, not with pride, but with peace. The throne, as if recognizing its master, hummed with light. And in the sacred quiet, it whispered one word. Welcome. The drought ended. The land bloomed. The curse cracked open like thunder. The king had returned, not reborn, awakened. The rain kissed the earth like a lover long denied. Children danced barefoot through puddles of prophecy. Temples rose again, stone by stone, some by some. The boy, now a king, wore robes of memory. Not stitched by hand, but by spirit. Elders sang. Drums awakened mountains. And above it all, the spirit of the old king watched from the clouds, smiling. For Kitara had not died. It had only waited. And now, through boy and blood, it rose once more. May we never forget what the land remembers. For kingdoms fall, but truth only sleeps, until we dream it back.